Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Northwest Liberty News, picking the lock on the shackles of tyranny.
Machines are going to fail, and the system's going to fail.
The past is past, the future's now.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Sometimes trouble just follows a man.
There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus.
Can't you stop your lips from flapping for 2 little minutes?
It's because I'm white.
I'm a man. I'm sensitive. I need to feel loved. I need to be desired.
I'm rapidly becoming a big underground success in this town.
It's a question of methods. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants to do what they have to do to get them done.
And now, coming to you live from Kalispell, Montana, brought to you by Northwest Liberty News, it's Montana Gazette Radio with your host, James White. Okay, so I'm your host, James White. This is Montana Gazette Radio. Thanks so much for joining us here on this third day of November, Election Day. All this circus that's been going on here for, it seems like it's years now, is all coming to a head today. Now, do I think that everything's going to be decided today? Yeah, probably not. Who knows when all that's going to shake out. Nonetheless, it is what it is, and we have to deal with what we have to deal with. So thanks so much for joining us here today on the program, coming to you live from Kalispell, Montana. And again, we are delighted for you to join us here on this Election Day. I'm not really going to cover too much on the polls because, frankly, I think that you can't believe them. I think that the polls, as far as I can tell, is the people that show up for these rallies, and I mean it's by the tens of thousands compared, from Trump compared to what Biden brings in. So, I'm already hearing, we've seen results here, or I should say proof that they're really, really hardcore trying to cheat and steal in Philadelphia and other areas. So, I know what it looks like. It looks like certainly like a red wave, or like Trump is going to dominate because, again, based upon the rallies. But a theft is a theft, folks. I mean, if they can steal it, they can steal it, and we've covered that on the show before, and that's not what this show is about today. This show today is we're going to have Stephen James on the line. I'm expecting Stephen to call in here. Perhaps he didn't get the number here. Let me send this over to him to make sure that he has the number, and then what we'll do is we'll have him call in and to the show, and he should be on here hopefully momentarily. Now, if you're not familiar with who Stephen James is, he was actually kicked out of the football game. There we go. Go ahead, Stephen, call that number there if you're listening. Call that number I just put in there, or the number on the screen. You see the number there. Call that number. We'll have you on the show here. We'll pick you up here as soon as you call in. I'm going to play the video here, and Stephen was kicked out of the football game when he was not wearing a mask way outside the there he is right there, way outside the zone that you would think would be safe. I'm going to play the video here. Is that him? Let's bring him on. Stephen, is that you?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes, I'm here.
Very good, sir.
Hello, James.
Hello. Very good. Thanks so much for joining us here. I was just kind of laying this out here, what was going on. We're going to play the video here in just in a moment, but thanks so much for joining us here on the show. We were just talking about how you got kicked out of the football game, and as the video will show, you were certainly way outside. You would think, I mean, the kids were playing on the field pretty far away from where you were. Certainly, if they use 6 feet as the social quote unquote social distancing line, you had exceeded that, right, by magnitudes. And then they came up to you. Looks like the athletic director came up to you and started giving you the business. And then the sheriff deputy came up, and there was a response from the sheriff. But Stephen, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Thanks so much for joining us here on Montana Gazette Radio. And if you could,
my pleasure.
Give us a background, if you can, on yourself, since it's your first time here on the show. I don't really have a bio for you set up currently. ready to go. So just give us a little background. Give us a little background about yourself, and then we'll kick off the video here, and you can tell us what went on. Go ahead, Stephen James. Thanks so much.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on. This has gone way past what I imagined. But I moved to Montana about 30 years ago to basically escape the kind of police state mentality that was developing around Colorado, and kind of administrative state that was developing that it seems I was hassling with about every turn. So I threw in the towel and thought about the old saying, sometimes retreat is the better part of valor, and came to Montana. So I've been resisting the administrative state, this encroachment upon our freedoms, our liberties, just our rights to be left alone and to pursue our happiness for many years. I'm 70 years old, and as I say, this isn't my first rodeo. However, I am a little rusty. I haven't been arrested in about 30 years, so I'm a little rusty at it. So maybe that explains why they didn't go ahead and arrest me. So,
go ahead, flesh that out a little bit. Explain that out a little bit, Stephen. You have been arrested in 30 years. Now, we've talked, of course, before the show, and this is not the first time that you have really been involved in sort of, I guess you could call, activism or resistance. And here's the thing, folks: there's nothing unmoral or unchristian about peaceful resistance, right? What else are you going to do? Just give in to tyranny?
Well,
no, we've got to have. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, exactly. As Christians, we're called to resist the evil. We're called to resist wickedness in high places, especially. We're called to set the bar of righteousness and freedom and liberty and responsible life in a free society. That's what Christians are called to. So it's not just a choice; it's a duty.
Oh, indeed, well put. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop in the video here. We're going to play that video for those of you that haven't seen the video. Now, what we're going to do? Do you want? How do you want to do it, Stephen? Do you want to play the video and then talk about the conversation you had before the video, or do you want to talk about the conversation? Because you said there was about 10 or 15 minutes maybe worth of conversation roughly before you even started the video. How do you want to do it? What do you think would be best? You want to set it up first with your conversation?
Yeah. No, I think it would be better to give a little background.
Yeah,
of what
go ahead and do that.
Preceded this video. It'll give people a little bit better understanding of what they're going to see or hear. I went to the ball game on the special invitation of two grandsons that play for Whitehall, and I have a couple nephews also that play, and it's a deal where they have to get a ticket for you. So my wife and I were pleased to be following these kids and went to Shepherd for the game, riding along with one of their parents, and so we drove roughly 230 miles from where we live to watch this game. And once upon getting there was quite an ordeal of getting in the game. You had to take your temperature, and they gave you a mask, and then paid $7 per person, which we did all that, and went in, and like I normally have been doing, I don't sit close to people. I don't even sit in the stands. I generally find a spot along the fence or somewhere plenty far away from anybody I can watch and enjoy the game. That's what I was doing down towards the stands. Well, when this Rich Hash, this activity director, kind of came down along the track, kind of barking at the Whitehall spectators and fans about this mask, it was pretty obvious right from the beginning this arrogant fellow was going to make an issue of this. And so I started to distance myself even more. And then when he got down past the Whitehall fan section and turned around, he came back up. He was kind of pointing people out and in a very disrespectful way, almost chewing them out. And I just didn't really want to be hassled like that. So I began walking out towards the exit and took a spot under the scoreboard, actually, which is even beyond the end zone. So it's more than 50 yards from the middle of the field. And I was standing there leaning against the post of the scoreboard watching the game. I had a very good vantage point of watching the game, as you can kind of see where the video starts. And I wasn't getting hassled at all, so I was just enjoying watching the game. Well, this deputy, his name is Sam, and I didn't get his last name, but he came walking along the track and saw me, acknowledged me, and I acknowledged him, and then he walked over and he began a conversation with me about the whole issue. And he began to explain to me this is private property, which I disputed, that I would be trespassing if I didn't put a mask on. I questioned him about that. And then the other third major point he made was that this is a law, that the health department is directive is a law that we have to obey.
No, it's not.
Well, we had quite a conversation. Now, this young guy, I think he said he was 30 or 31, somewhere in there. And then you see him, the sheriff ends up admitting that he's a new recruit or new on the force or something. But I was trying to figure out how I could record this conversation because, I'm oftentimes stunned, and I shouldn't be by now, of how deep the ignorance of our system goes in people. But this guy was just, and it was gentlemanly. It was a gentlemanly conversation. It wasn't argumentative or anything, but that lasted probably 10, maybe 15 minutes. And he politely, told me that, well, if the activities director tells you to put a mask on or you don't, I'll be ushering you from the property. I said, well, whatever. And so he walked over towards the table, and that's where you see kind of in the video, that's where the athletic director met him as he was making his round, and I could see them talking. They were probably, 30 yards away, 20, 30 yards away from me, but I could see he was, they were fixing to come my way. So I had my video on the game, and so that's where you see it began.
Okay, we're going to kick it off. We're going to kick it off right there. We're going to kick it off right there on that spot here. Everything should pretty much be up and ready to go here. And we'll. This is about a 5-minute video, folks, and we'll be back with commentary on the other side. Here we go.
Put a mask on.
You got to have a mask on.
What's that?
You have to have a mask on our property.
And who are you?
I'm Rich Hass, the activities director at Shepherd. And our rule on the campus and in Yellowstone County, you have to have a mask on.
This is your property?
This is our property, the school district, Shepherd School District.
School district, so it's public property.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
So you can put a mask on, or he's gonna ask you to leave, and we're gonna trespass you, and you won't be coming back to Shepherd.
So
we're not gonna discuss it.
Yeah, we're not gonna discuss it, and all your recording, all that. Let's go. You need to go.
Okay.
So we're
okay. All right.
Perfect. And we're not gonna talk about. We're gonna
can you give me the citation that backs up the idea that this is private property?
It's school districts. There's rules for school district property, even though it's public. You still have to follow the rules.
Am I harming somebody here?
Doesn't matter. Good.
How are you?
It don't matter.
How are you?
You gotta have a mask on. That's
you don't have a mask on either.
Who made the rule?
The CDC and our county health department.
Did it pass through the legislature?
We're gonna head out this rule. We're gonna go off property.
Is that a rule or a?
I mean, all you have to do is put a mask on. It wasn't. We asked you several times.
Just keep on walking.
No, you asked me once. Wait a minute, sir.
No. There's no wait a minute. We're gonna get off the property now. Okay.
I didn't tell him I wasn't.
Do you want to go to jail for?
Look, I wasn't telling him. I was. Did you hear him? Did you hear me tell him no? Did you even hear me tell him that
Keep
I
on
wouldn't
walking.
put one on?
Do you want to go in handcuffs when you're in the jail?
already.
No, I have. When did you ask me?
Guys right over here did.
They didn't ask me nothing. Boy, you guys are
No, we're not.
flipping crazy.
Yeah, you
All right.
actually, you guys are going to get in your car and leave the property.
Okay. We are. I didn't bring a car.
Well, that's your problem. Okay.
Okay.
Keep on walking that way.
You know, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, they're telling you to put on a mask and you're refusing to.
Well,
You know, and it is private property.
you know,
This guy's probably a reasonable fellow. That guy is not.
So
well, I had a good conversation with
you did,
Sam.
but I told you if he came over until he put on a mask,
Yeah.
you didn't want to put. Sorry.
Well,
That's why
he didn't even give me a chance to respond.
you don't need to respond. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So, how come he doesn't go out and tell the refs to put a mask on, or the people in the crow's nest to put a mask on? Is that like picking and choosing?
No, he's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It is. And here's the thing.
They're officials. So when the officials are on the floor, have you watched the NFL?
No, I don't watch the NFL.
Okay. So they don't have a mask on until they're done with the call. Okay. Then they put a mask on.
But I know it's bizarre.
So, I
the whole
know,
thing's
I know.
bizarre.
Yep.
And that's my point. Is so here's the thing: is I had my coat like this, and he said, "Do you have a face mask?" I said, "No, I like this." Half the people over here, and I guarantee most of the people over here are wearing their face masks down here. So what's the difference?
Well, I'll go in there and I'll start kicking people out.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's because I'll stay here. But we're like
okay.
right now. So I need your information.
I'll wait and see.
I'll have your card actually now with your.
Sure, I'll give you my card.
Your driver's license.
Hold it a second.
ID.
Here.
What's that?
Are you writing him a ticket?
No, I have to because I'm trespassing from property.
Well,
So I need his information.
I'm just going to leave the property. Where does the property end? The street?
The street, but you're not going to be walking up the street.
No, I'm going to walk home.
Okay.
I'm going to head home.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't you live in Whitehall?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And
but I need your information.
I came 300 miles.
Okay.
To watch this game.
No, we're done.
'cause
We're
I have
done. I know.
2 grandsons.
I understand that, but
and
we're
3
done here.
nephews.
Okay, let's walk off the property now.
Okay. All
So
right.
do you have a truck here? Because
Yeah.
if you come back on the property, you're
No,
in
I'm
handcuffs.
not. No, I don't.
Okay, because I'm going to stay here until the end of the game.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
I'm going to just start
And you're
walking.
refusing to give me your information?
I don't see what. There's a reason here.
They're telling you to get off the property.
Okay, so I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
All right,
Perfect.
so get off the property.
Is he
All right.
filing a trespassing
Okay.
charge?
Yeah, well, there's no charge. It's trespassing if you come back.
If I leave.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's all I can say about that is wow. That is but I tell you, I just that is so poorly executed by that deputy,
gang
man.
Violence. Welcome to gang violence, brought to you by the state of Montana.
Yeah, that's preposterous, man. He's threatened to handcuff you and arrest you multiple times. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, for what? I mean, that's the height of lunacy. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, how you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw you asking him. Yeah, I saw you saying this is crazy. I mean, how'd you feel here being in America? I mean, it's just sitting around watching a football game and they're threatening to handcuff you and throw you and arrest you. And I think he said take you to jail. I think he mentioned jail a couple times just for watching a game without a mask and there's not even a law. It's not even a law. How'd you feel about that?
Right. Well, James, these people have been conditioned and trained to expect people to just, when they say jump, ask how high. Actually, on your way up, ask how high. And the intolerance that they are exhibiting, their brutality. I mean, now people go, "Oh, that wasn't brutal." Well, it is brutal. It's basically, you can comply, or we will do whatever we want to do with you. Now they don't say it like that, but that's what you get, and that's what makes most people, fearful enough to comply. And maybe I'm just not smart enough to be that fearful. I don't know, but that these are little men with little badges and airs of authority that This Rick Hash, I'm not the first one that has been hassled and abused by this guy. I hope the people in Billings and the Shepherd School District and stuff take this up and get him fired. He should be not just reprimanded or talked to. He should be fired.
And here's the ironic thing. The guy that came up to you, is he the athletic director? The guy that, whoever he is, the activities director, he comes up wearing like a bandana over his face. That's not even technically
right.
That's not even really protecting anything. That's doing nothing. I mean, that's the irony about it. That whole thing he's wearing is useless.
Exactly. And I'm not. There are many. In fact, some Whitehall people have called me and told me how they were hassled. Some of them just left the game because they didn't want to get hassled. How sad is that? Here's good people, workaday people that want nothing to do but go cheer on their team and support their kids and so on and so forth. Enjoy an afternoon of a good outdoor activity. Drive 230 miles. Take all day of a Saturday, and they're treated like this. They're forced, or these guys put on a scene that makes them think, well, I better just wander out of here so I don't get, arrested. I mean, how sad is that? I know one person who left about the time that they were doing this to me because he just, he has a health condition. He can't wear a mask, and he just didn't want to be hassled. He has friends and family members involved with the high school football team. How sad is that? Welcome to, the new Nazi mentality of America.
What's been said, of course, when the people fear the government, it's tyranny. When the government fears the people, it's liberty. These people are put in positions by us. Now, that says a lot about this guy, this athletic director, that he has, some elected authority there at the school that he's able to come and kick people off. It seems that he does that with pleasure. To me, it seems like that he digs it.
Yeah, well, he's not even an elected person. He's an employee of the school district, for goodness sake. He's an athletic director. I mean, come on, give me a break. I don't know if that's even higher than the dog catcher.
No, it's not, because the dog catcher has to take an oath to the Constitution. The athletic director doesn't.
Let's get out of line. He's just a low-level employee of a school district. He's not even the principal or the superintendent of schools he's certainly not elected. So at least the sheriff deputy is representing an elected office of the sheriff. I mean, so at least the sheriff deputy has some lawful authority, but he's so deficient in his understanding of law and his job and just how the basic order of things. James, I don't want to spend our whole time just grousing about what went on. I'd like to talk about what the meaning of this is and how we can
go for it.
We rejoice in it.
Sure, go for it.
Well, I was reading in in Philippians chapter 1 starting verse 12, when Paul was in jail writing to the Philippians and others, and this is what he said to them. He said, and this I think could be said right now, but I want you to know, and this is my heart, I want you to know, brethren, that the things which happened to me have actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel, so that it has become evident to the whole palace guard and to the rest that my chains are in Christ, and most of the brethren in the Lord, having become confident by my chains, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. And I think, man, that always impressed me with Paul. And, this is such a little petty incident in one respect, but it's huge in another. Because it just shows how far we've gone down the road to tyranny and this administrative state having its thumb on everybody. And it's time that we stand up and just tell them no. They need our cooperation for this to continue to build into a total police state. They need us. We don't need them. They need us to cooperate, and people just stop cooperating with them.
I've said that on that show numerous times. I think just maybe the last broadcast. We don't have to take up arms. We don't have to get violent. We don't have to do any of that stuff. All we have to do is just say we're not going to comply. Right. We're just not going to comply with you. Right. You're not our overlords. You're not our leaders. We don't follow you. We don't comply. That's all you got to do.
You work for exactly. You work for us. You are on our payroll, not the other way around. You take an oath to uphold the Constitution, okay? And you take that oath at your own harm. If you don't want to uphold the Constitution, don't take the oath. So, and then here's another one I thought people might enjoy. One of my favorite patriots, Samuel Adams, actually named my youngest son Samuel Adams. But this could be a modern Samuel Adams. If ye love ball games and the ease of modern life better than liberty, the tranquility of being thought well of by your slavish neighbors, better than the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your Facebook wisdom or your opinions. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. I think we need a call to just stand. We don't need so much a call to arms, but a call to stand. And just gently, peaceably, and as gentlemanly as we can, put these people in their place. Call them on their ill behavior, and do what we can to educate them and train them better. But this is the time to stand, and I'm really excited. I tell you, I'm excited about what.
Well, Stephen, the way I like to put it is, it's time for men to stand up and be men. There's a lot of males, but there's not a lot of men. If men would stand up and be men, then there would not be everything that's going on. It wouldn't be going on. It wouldn't be going on because men wouldn't allow it. Men don't allow that kind of stuff to go on. They don't allow those kind of shenanigans. They stand up to it, right? They run towards the danger. That's what men do. That's what men do. We need men and less cowards is what we need.
There's a lot of things that people have been trained to say too that kind of take the wind out of men's sails because they don't think deeply about them. They don't analyze them. And here's one of them. Well, and I've heard this, I don't know, hundreds of times in my life, I bet. Well, Steve, you need to pick your battles. You need to choose wisely the hill you want to die on. Now, doesn't that sound profound, and doesn't that sound like good wisdom? But it's not. My response that I've developed over the years is I've already chosen the ground I will stand on, and that is Christ. Christ and Christ alone. He made me, he bought me, and he made me free. He purchased my liberty at the cost of his own blood. I've already chosen that hill. Now, there's all kinds of attacks that come for someone on that hill. Sometimes they look like some idiot at a ball game trying to enforce some stupid thing on you that is really a plan to get everybody marching towards some gulag or something. I didn't choose that battle. In fact, I tried to avoid it. But my stand is on the hill of Christ and him alone. And he doesn't want any of us. The Apostle Paul tells us to stand fast in our freedom or our liberty. Don't be taken again into bondage.
Nope.
All right.
All other ground is sinking sand, my friend. All other ground is sinking sand, as we know. We've got another guest coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Stephen, do you want to say anything before we let you go? Anything you want to give out any Facebook pages or let people know if they want to support you or pray for you or give you prayers in your way? Go ahead.
Well, I never turned down prayers. Lord knows if anyone can use them, it's me. No, this is a time when we should be thanking God for the new normal that's coming. And I've been I started my illustrious career resisting nonsense when I was in my 20s, and I'm 70, and I've seen a lot of it. But the new normal right now, we should rejoice in. It's normal now to question authority. 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, it was not normal. In fact, it wasn't even encouraged. Now it's normal. That's a new normal we should enjoy, and we should participate in, and we should give thanks to God for. There's also a new normal where people are beginning to see the United States government gone completely awry. This top-down thing is antithetical to everything our founders envisioned. People are seeing it. It's being displayed wide open, and that's a new normal that we should rejoice in. So embrace the new normal. Let's make the new normal our new normal, God's new normal, Christ's new normal. Let's not settle for some nonsense from these would-be tyrants that need us way more than we need them.
Stephen James, we appreciate you so much being on. Well said, my friend. Well said. We'll keep an eye on you. Let me know how things go. You just contact me if something comes up.
All right. Praise God. This is, I'm astounded. This thing's gotten, banging up against 10,000 views and I don't know how many shares, and which is just blowing me away. And before I go, I want to just thank God and thank those that have chimed in and have that spark of liberty burning in them. And I just want to encourage us all to proceed with wisdom and cover all of our activities in prayer and follow Christ no matter what.
Thanks, Stephen. We appreciate that, my friend. We'll talk to you again.
Happy Election Day, folks. It's going to get fun.
Right on. We'll be in touch, Stephen. Thanks so much. We appreciate it,
all right,
brother.
You bet.
Take care. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Bye now. Yep.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we come back on the other side. We're going to have Brenda Roskos on the line with us. Her group, yesterday there was another big vote here in Flathead Valley. They were going to try to do the lockdown thing again. Her group, of course, was there on the scene once again to combat the tyranny, and it turned out positive 2 times in a row, and their group deserves an awful lot of credit. We're going to have Brenda Roskos on the line with us here right after these quick commercial messages. Thanks so much for joining us here on Montana Gazette Radio, and the call-in line's 563-999-3617. But we won't be taking calls till after Brenda gets off the phone, but so much appreciate you tuning in today. We'll be back after these brief messages. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Legacy and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest are known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
Okay, folks, if you want to support this broadcast, you can support us by supporting our sponsors and check out all the fine products there at PatriotPrepared.com. That's PatriotPrepared.com. And if you're in the Kalispell area, please go to the corner shop to get your auto repair work done. Dan's a good guy. Go see him, as a matter of fact, today or tomorrow. And we appreciate you looking in here. It is the third day of November, Voter Day. It's Election Day, I should say, here in America. And boy, I tell you, we could be in for quite a ride here before it's all over. And just be strong is all I can say. And keep up the fight, regardless of what happens. We still have to always be on guard for our liberties, and we can never put the protection of our liberties in the hands of others. We have to take that into our own hands. And my next guest here has done that quite effectively, and she has put together a group, and not just her, but others here in the Flathead Valley have put together an excellent group that really fight. Stand their standard. They stand up against the tyranny, and they've done some great work here. Yesterday was a big vote, and that turned in the favor of the folks. And Brenda Roskos had a big part in that. We're going to bring Brenda on the show here right now. Brenda Roskos, thanks so much for joining us here on Montana Gazette Radio.
Thank you, Jim. I'm really glad to be here, and I got a chance to listen to a little bit of the last gentleman that was on there. I thought he was excellent.
Oh, yeah. Stephen James, great.
Yes,
Yep.
And I just love that he gave God the glory, and that's how we feel, too, and that's what we did. And it was a miracle yesterday, by all means. And you and I just talked about 45 minutes ago deciding that I would come on, so I just jotted some things down here really quickly again.
Sure.
But I want to kind of say it in sequence so it can make sense here. But that's exactly what happened yesterday on, November 2nd. We had the health department rising up again and rehashing the same thing that they tried to do before. That was a 5-3 win on our part. And that was trying to squash large group gatherings of 500 or more, and then to put all sorts of restrictions on those groups over 50. So what that means that, you would have had to have more 6-foot distancing. Plans of action would have had to have been turned into the health department. And one of the reasons people are asking, well, why are they rehashing this stuff again? I think they thought they had power when those 5 businesses went through with, they're going through with their court and all the things that's happening with them, right? And then all the hubbub, the hysteria up on Whitefish. And then, of course, there's more testing everywhere, so much more testing. So I think they thought, we got to bring this back, because they didn't like that they didn't win last time, because they are bound and determined to try to get this to go through. And to be honest, we did not think that we would win this time. I was able to, because somebody took a screenshot of it and sent it to me, I was able to look at the agenda. Of course, here I'm on the ground with the people protesting, but I was able to look at several things. One of the things that caught my eye, if it would have all been all these restrictions of 6-foot distancing, the plan of actions would have had to go through and so forth. Right at the very bottom in super small print, it said that there would have been violations punishable under 50-2-123 Montana Code annotated. That was what they wrote down there, which actually meant that if people wouldn't have complied and so forth with these restrictions that they wanted to go forth, then they would have had to, community setting up these events would have had to pay money back or whatever. So they really try to put stuff in there. Violations punishable, very threatening like. Let me see where I want to start with here. Let's start with Bill Berg. Okay, he's the chairman of the board, and one of the things that he wrote there was a collective statement. Okay, one of the things that didn't go through is there's a collective statement put together, and there was a subcommittee that put it together, and then I think Bill added or deleted some things from that, and so several board members questioned him on that, so that did not go through. He put in things like I don't know why is this happening? Probably because it's so bipartisan. It's so, there's so many different political views, and that's why people aren't, wanting to agree with us, and on, and he talked about all the testing in there, so forth and so on. Now, this is the guy who voted that 5th vote last time and voted for us. Well, this time he was very adamantly against it, and he wanted more lockdowns and more restrictions. But like I said, they've just come off of the Whitefish frenzy, where those guys closed Halloween down and all of that up there. And I'll go back into the Whitefish thing in a bit, because that really hurt Whitefish, and it backfired on them. So we had Bill Berg, who switched this time, and just so you know, it was a tie vote. It was 4-4, but that didn't harm us. That kept us still free. There was no action taken, is what ended up happening. It was just dropped. That oddly enough, or just it was the 4 women, okay, on the board. There are 4 women and 4 men on this board. It was the 4 women who voted for freedom. Annie Bukacek, Pam Holmquist, Ronnalee Skis, and Ardis Larson. And I'd like to say a couple quick things about each of these women. Yay for these awesome patriotic women. I think it was Pam who questioned some things, right? She still talked about this isn't enforceable, and Travis Honor's not going to enforce it and so forth and so on. She was one who questioned some of the things in the press release that Bill wanted to have go out. She's got a really eagle eye. She really is a thinker and looks over these things carefully. Out of the 4 women, I believe from what I heard that Ardis Larson was the last to vote. And she did. She voted in the favor of freedom. So we're extremely proud of Ardis. Annie Bukacek, okay, man, this woman is courageous. She was gracious as always, polite, and it's like the doctors that are there listening to her they're either, as a friend of mine told me who was on Zoom, they're either degrading or they just try to ignore her. And she's the only one on there that isn't full of this CDC nonsense and has true science. So we give huge kudos to Dr. Annie because she's the one on the board that is the sane voice from the medical community. She's the one adding some reason to all of this and true science. So we're super proud of her. And I really wanted to bring up Ronnalee Skis. Now, Ronnalee has really come to bat. I've heard that she was asking some incredibly thought-provoking questions. And one of the things that I think happened, according to Thomas Millett, who we talked about, and Tom is just, he was in the Zoom meeting and paying attention and talking to us when we were down there on the ground, wanting to know what was going on. But I believe that Dr. John Tremper either called in or happened, to be there right there live on the Zoom. And Dr. Tremper, right, from the medical community, stated that all the ventilators were being used up at KRMC. There's 29 ventilators. He claimed that he believed that all the ventilators were being used for COVID patients. Well, that is not what the state hospital report said. Actually, only 7 ventilators are being used at this time at KRMC, and out of that, only 2 are being used for COVID. And I believe the one who caught that was Ronnalee Skis. Ronnalee, because of her position on the health board, is able to call these hospitals, get these reports, and so on. She is on top of it. Of course, we know her husband is Derek Skis, and they are a dynamic duo. We are so proud of Ronnalee. We couldn't be more proud. And, of course, she's got a wonderful husband backing her up with all these things. And so kudos to all of these patriotic women. We can't say enough about just them, of course, creating the for-to-vote vote. We have the men, on the other hand, who voted against freedom, wanted more lockdowns, wanted more restrictions and so forth. Bill Berg, the chairman, Kyle Waterman, who I believe is a city councilman, I think here in Kalispell, a man named Roger, I'm not quite sure of who he is exactly, and then who is that 4th one? Oh, the other doctor, Dr. Habor, who would love to see all of these restrictions on high tilt. So again, we applaud these courageous women of the Flathead Valley. So we were very excited about that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what kind of happened to us down there on the ground. You with me here, Jim? I think you can still hear me.
I am here. I'm going to actually try to text Ronnalee right now and see if I can get her to call in. I'm going to try to text. I'm texting her right now, but please go ahead and continue.
That'd be great. She's just awesome. So anyway, here we are. We gathered together. We got a whole bunch of, we emailed people on Sunday. We're calling people, getting it out to our Patriot groups, so on and so forth. So, of course, about 50 of us show up again. And I said, there was a few out in the front on Main Street there. And I said, guys, we're going to stop. We're going to go back in front of the health, building there in front of the signs, take pictures like we did last time, and we're going to pray. And we did it. I'm like, we're not even going to go into this without praying. So then we go back out to the street, and of course there's a bunch of voters over there, and they can see us and so forth. And so there ended up being about 50 of us out there, Jim, and lots of kids this time. A lot of people from Liberty Fellowship showed up. One family that goes there, I believe they have 12 or 13 children all lined up out there. It was awesome to see all these kids out there, fighting with their family for freedom. And so we're out there, and cars are honking and this and that. To be honest, Jim, we didn't really think we'd win this time. And I got to tell you, I was kind of, I don't want to say moping around, but I was kind of going from person to person in our group and visiting with them. And checking in with another guy who's one of the heads of our group and seeing how things are going and if he'd heard anything from anybody on the Zoom and what the scoop was. And nothing so far. We hadn't heard about any of the voting or anything taking place yet. So we're just out there doing our thing, and cars are honking and waving and lots of flags going by. And we're just out there being faithful servants, you know, to the Lord and trying to do what we're called to do, and didn't expect miracles really, but we're praying through it. And like I said, the kids are out there doing their thing. And all of a sudden, I'm watching for Tom Millette, who's been on your show before. And all of a sudden he goes, they're voting now, they're voting. And then pretty soon he goes, it's 4-4. He goes, we're waiting on artists, I think, to vote. And then he goes, it's 4-4. And I'm thinking, well, you know, it's tied. He goes, no, we won. I go, we won? And we were all shocked. We were just all shocked down there. We're like, we won. In 4-4, nothing happens. It stays as it was. It stays that there were no additional restrictions for Flathead County. And we were elated after that. I mean, we were just like in shock and praising God. And soon after that, we departed and all went home, and we were astounded.
Well, Ronald Lee got
thing,
back to me, and I don't think that Ronald Lee got back to me. I don't think that she's going to be able to come on. I think she's actually on the phone on other calls right now. But perhaps we can get her on here sometime soon. We can catch her. Sure. Of course, it's tough to call her, without even calling her ahead of time and letting her know anything. Of course, people just can't drop everything to be on a goofy radio show. But we do appreciate all the work that she's done, and we're looking forward to having her on when she can come on. But please continue.
Well, she's really stepped up. We're super proud of her, and just her stance for freedom is just phenomenal. And we're very proud of all of them, but she really stood out with, and one of the reasons that we weren't sure this time is we had heard that there were 200 doctors that had written a letter together and signed it, 200 stating that they wanted more restrictions. Okay. And so we're like, oh, great, but we had heard that out of the people who called in, the callers, the people calling in, this makes such a difference. They were like, and we know the opposition were just like, no, don't open up. We want more restrictions. COVID, we're all going to die. No. But the people who called in were like, no, we don't want more restrictions. We do not want this many restrictions. No, it's coming the holidays. Stop doing this to us. So here we have these 200 doctors who had written this collective letter and signed it. No, we want restrictions. We got to be the whole thing. And so we're just thinking, man, we didn't stand a chance this time. But this is where you just you don't know, Jim. Like you said, you've got to show up, you've got to write letters, you've got to call in, and you've got to pray. And we were astounded. We were so ecstatic to hear all of this information. And there's stuff going on up at Whitefish at the same time with the Whitefish City Council last night, and this kind of came through. And a girlfriend of mine talked to me on the phone. And I think she called in up last night too. But people have been praying for that situation up there. And, people are calling in there. I think Alex, who owns a Buffalo Cafe, and I think he's owned it a long time, he called into the Whitefish City Council. He said, listen, guys, you want to take me back down to 50%. What are you trying to do to our town? I may as well just fold up if I take my business down to 50%. And I can tell you, Jim, it was just literally, no pun intended, it was like a ghost town up there on Halloween. Everybody closed down early downtown. All the action was happening down here with the big thing with Donald Trump and Ted Nugent and Danes and Gianforte down here in Kalispell. And kids people were doing their Halloween stuff down here, and there were parties and trunk or treats. And Whitefish was just dead. But that city council is getting, they're getting what they're doing. They're harming themselves. They're getting a taste of their own medicine up there. It's affecting their tax resort base. It's affecting so many things up there. And so it sounds like they're going to hold it cool for a while there, which is good. They're not going to make any big measures right now after this Halloween thing they did. They're just going to kind of, because their own people are calling in from their businesses saying, don't destroy us up here. Whitefish better watch it up there at that city council, because they're going to end up a ghost town if they don't pull it together up there. And so, again, Jim, we have some really good things happening here. We're excited. We're very, very excited. Of course, it's election day. Another thing I wanted to throw in there, just on top of all this, is I was reading the NBC News stations that came across Facebook yesterday, and I see that several people in Bullock's staff members right now have all tested positive, a bunch of them for COVID, and he refuses to quarantine at the advice of the doctor down there, and he won't do it, but he's agreeing to, get tested every once or twice a day. Do you see what's going on? This man does not practice what he preaches. He wants to come against these 5 businesses. He wants to do all this crazy stuff, and he won't even follow his own rules. So, again, Flathead Valley is coming forth strong again for freedom, and these 5 businesses, I believe, are going to come out victorious. And like I said, the Whitefish City Council is calmed down a little bit, which is incredible. And they're starting to finally listen to their people up there who are business people have had enough. They're calling in saying no more. And then we had this victory here again and praising the brave and courageous women who are getting lots of pats on the back right now. These patriotic women. And we love it. We just love it. And what a gift. What a wonderful, wonderful thing to happen to still have freedom in the Flathead Valley here on this election day. And we couldn't ask for more. We're very, very pleased right now.
Well, Brenda, I just want to my hats are off to you and your group there that have worked tirelessly, met with the commissioners, and and I'm really delighted. Pam Holmquist, I consider her top shelf. She's done a great job, and she's open to have people come in and visit with her. I went and spoke to her. I know I believe you and your group, some members went and spoke with her as well.
Did.
Yeah.
Correct.
And she's really stepped up and really shown that she is standing behind liberty. And we do appreciate that. County commissioners are very important, folks. They're very important to make sure you vote in good county commissioners that believe in, constitutional principles and liberty and freedom. And we got some good ones here, so we're fortunate for that. Brenda, anything that you wanted to say? Anything upcoming? Anything going on that we need to know about here before we close down here on this portion of the show, this interview?
When you're talking about county commissioners, I just wanted to put a plug in real quick for Brad Abel. Yay, go
right.
Get Brad, because I think he's extremely humble. I listened to him the other day at the Red Lion. I think he would be an awesome county commissioner. He's very teachable. He's very honest. He's a very kind, humble man. He wants to work hard. He has worked hard. He studies hard. He researches. And so I just wanted to put that plug in, and just a plug in today to just vote your conscience, vote what's right, vote anybody who will stand up against tyranny. Really, that's just it for now. And to keep constantly battling, keep working at it, and don't let things slip by. And don't look at, because we could have easily not showed up tomorrow. We could have easily went, oh, we're tired. We don't want to write in and all that. Don't give up. Do not give up. And even when you don't think there's going to be a victory, never underestimate the power of God and prayer and going forth, because I'm going to tell you, it's tiring. And we're thinking, this thing again? Oh, well, we might not win this time. 200 doctors signed a letter. Don't let it fool you, and don't let it floor you. And another quick thing here that I wanted to say is that God really put it into my mind, when these doctors are so, there's a lot of them, they're very cocky and pompous when, and calling into these board meetings and this and that. And, you have humble little Annie Bukacek in the background just trying to get her information out there. And I really thought about, that pride goes before a fall and a haughty spirit before destruction. We won yesterday. We weren't supposed to. We're just mom and dads out there doing this, right? Kids showing up. But we believe in a mighty God. We believe in patriotism. We believe, in fighting all the way. And we're not going to stop. And so that's what we encourage everybody to do. Keep writing, keep calling, and as soon as you see something popped up, deal with it. Oh, one more thing I do want to say, and that is, it has to do with can you hear me there, Jim?
Sure. Go ahead.
Oh, it's because somebody else is trying to call me. The mobilization vaccination unit, which is a $170,000 vaccination van that the health department wanted to get voted in with COVID funds, right? So that was addressed to the county commissioners, and they looked at it, and it was brought to their attention, hey, this might not be the greatest thing to purchase, because these people, you don't even have a COVID vaccine right now, and these people want to use it for flu vaccine and other vaccines and run all over our valley with this expensive item, this van that you want to vaccinate people with. This is the kind of stuff this health department wants to pull. They want to use COVID dollars and run around and give flu vaccines, because COVID shots aren't even here yet. And the county commissioners, I think it was Randy Brodell and Phil Mitchell, I believe that Ham was out of town. They voted it down. They voted that down. Good for them. Good for them. Keeping it honest and keeping it real and not using this crazy COVID funding cash for something where the health department's going to run around and use it for other matters. You see what I'm talking about? We have this shifty stuff going on in the background.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of shifty stuff. There's a lot of shifty stuff. That's for sure, Brenda. Brenda, we appreciate all your activism, and we'll certainly keep in close contact with you here on the show. And thank you for all you do, and we so much appreciate you taking time to come on the show for us again, Brenda Roskos.
Great. Have a great day. We'll talk later. God bless you all, and everybody get out and vote. All right, take care.
Get out and vote. Great day. You take care, too. Okay, there goes Brenda Roskos, doing some great work there on the ground. Her and her group are doing some fantastic work on the ground, fighting tyranny. And, she made a point there, folks. It's, I think, a really important one. Sometimes all it really takes is just takes for you to show up. That's it. Just show up. Be there. That's all you got to do. You don't have to fly in with a cape on. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have any special powers. You don't have to have any special training. You don't have to have any of that stuff. Just show up and let people know that you exist and that you're not putting up with the tyranny. Right? I mean, that's the reason that they continue to do what they do and get away with it, is because there's no resistance. There's now, but there hasn't been. Hasn't been for a long time. A few have fought against the tyranny, but generally speaking, nope, they've been able to run wild, and you see the results. So that's the way it is. You know, it is what it is, and that's what we have to deal with. We've got to. We're gonna close out the show here. We do appreciate you looking in. Go back if you missed or just tuning in late here. Go back and watch the first part. There was with our guest Stephen James, and just see the. Just it's pathetic how he was treated there at the football game. You can see that video played there on the first part of the show, and listen, we all have to hang together, folks, or we most certainly will hang separately. That's for sure. So thanks for looking in. Montana Daily Gazette or MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaDailyGazette.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, or the flagship northwestlibertynews.com. Thanks so much for looking in here on the broadcast. Go out and vote, as was stated here by the guest a couple of times. Not telling you who to vote for, just get out and do it, because your vote does count. I know it doesn't seem like it, but do what you can. Do what you can to vote. We appreciate you looking in here on the show. And tomorrow will be what a day tomorrow will be. Tomorrow, 24 hours from now, will be a different world one way or another. And let's hope there's not riots going on all across the country. But I fear that there might be. But pray for those people, and we just need to find some way to live together in a civil society, and hope that happens soon. Because fighting the fight every day just gets weary, folks. Doesn't it? Aren't you weary? Aren't you weary of all this crap that's going on? Aren't you really sick and tired of politics? Yeah, the Trump rallies are cool, and it's massive amounts of people, and it's unbelievable to watch. But boy, I tell you, it'd be nice to take a step back. It'd be nice if everything just stopped for like a week. All this politics stuff, but we'll see. Thanks so much for looking in. Until next time, James White for Montana Gazette Radio, saying bye now. Thanks so much for looking in. Until next time.